Hey everybody, and welcome to Chat with Kat. So I was just informed the other day that it is actually, in addition to being Disability Awareness Month and Spina Bifida Awareness Month, that it's also Anti-Bullying Awareness Month. And what better way for me to celebrate all three than to tell you a little bit about my story, not Cat Girl, my story, and then give you some tips on how to handle bullying. So, here we go. I grew up in a very small town in kind of middle New York. I always call it upstate New York. It's not really upstate. And I was the only person in a wheelchair throughout my entire schooling. And that led to some inevitable bullying and ostracizing from my peers. That was only kind of exasperated at times by the adults in the room that really didn't know how to handle my situation, with the exception of a few. There were some really great teachers like Miss Ainoni, my first grade teacher, who gave me the book Joni that I've mentioned in a million different episodes of Chat with Kat, which was a very life-changing book for me because it was the first time that I read a story about someone with a disability, and it really touched me to see that. So that's where I'm going to go next, because that was a really pivotal moment in my life, as I mentioned, and for all the teachers and parents out there that are looking for ways to handle their child being bullied, I think the best thing that I can tell you is to find resources that can encourage them and help them feel related to. So what I mean is, let's take the wheelchair out of the equation. Let's say you have a child with autism that is nonverbal, and so you can't really have a conversation with them about bullying and how to deal with it. But you can find books that showcase people with autism that have achieved great things, or you can watch what their interests are, and you can hone in on that, and you can encourage them by signing them up for classes in that field. So let's say they love to dance. Sign them up for dance classes. Let's say they love art. Sign them up for a painting class or a drawing seminar. These are all ways that you can help your child not only cope with their feelings of being bullied, but also give them a sense of confidence and give them a sense of belonging that maybe they don't feel in school. So that's my biggest thing that I would say to any parent or educator. And I know you're probably wondering, where did all this come from? But I was just on a really great podcast the other day called the Miami Community Newspaper's Autism Dads Podcast. And he asked me this question, and I really, sometimes I could be a little hard on myself. I didn't like the way that I answered it. So after 2 days of thinking, I came up with this, and I feel like this is honestly, if I was a parent or an educator, the best way that I would handle the situation. And so that's why I'm telling all of you what I think about in relation to disability and anti-bullying. I think it's really important to let the child understand that there are people out there that aren't going to understand them, or that may look at their difference as something negative. But it's our responsibility as a community of people with disabilities that are older, or the parents or the educators, to really reach out to those kids and let them know that they're not alone, that we all have something special inside of us. And so really looking at what their interests are would be a great way to do that. So, all right, guys. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will talk to you tomorrow for another episode of Chat with Kat.